Fonsy After 5.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of Fonsy After 5. This is my tribute to late night 90s call-in radio with a little bit of holiday spirit. Every episode I'll be interviewing a colleague, friend, fellow singer about some of their favorite holiday traditions and what they've been up to over the last weeks and months. At the end of every episode, I'll be taking a song request and dedication from them, and then you'll hear a surprise guest perform it for them. So I hope you enjoy. Happy holidays, and I couldn't be more thrilled than to kick off the first episode with Karen Kanakis and Jacob Lassetter. So welcome, Karen and Jacob. Welcome to the first episode of Fonsy After 5. Tonight I have with me Karen Kanakis and Jacob Lassetter. Karen was my voice teacher at Luther College. Karen and Jacob, where are you now?
We are in St. Louis, Missouri.
And what brought you to St. Louis?
I took a job teaching at Webster University.
And how do you like living in St. Louis these days?
It's great.
It is great, yeah. We love it.
Yeah.
There, obviously, most people who are singers will know this is the home of Opera Theater St. Louis, also St. Louis Symphony, but there are several other opera companies here as well. So Union Avenue Opera, Winter Opera St. Louis, the St. Louis Opera Collective, and now Edwardsville Opera is Opera Edwardsville is just starting up. They're in the fundraising stage. So that's pretty unique for a city this size to have so many local companies and a really great group of local singers here as well. So we've loved all the opportunities that we've had here as singers and artists. It's fantastic.
And just being, as I'm sure you can understand, being near a really great airport is so important as a singer.
Yeah, right. I live near the airport too. And right now it's kind of like, oh yeah, the airport, that thing we used to use.
Right.
Yes. When you need it, it's important. Yeah. So how long have you lived in your house that you live in now in St. Louis?
This is our 5th year.
Oh, that's enough time to kind of be settled in, yeah?
Yeah, I think we're feeling pretty settled. We're in actually an old Italian-American neighborhood called The Hill, if people are familiar with St. Louis, which we thought was maybe the perfect place to be for two singers. So we've really enjoyed that.
I love that. So do you decorate for the holidays? Do you do the house up, outside, inside, or?
We do. It's a little tricky because we have a cat. So we have to be strategic about the tree and where the ornaments are hanging on the tree. So it looks a little wonky to have most of the ornaments like halfway up the tree to the top and nothing on the bottom where the cat can get to it.
It's like your tree is on a Zoom call, no pants.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
A faced up kind of tree. That's hilarious. What's your cat's name again?
Elvie, which is short for Elvira.
Love it.
And of course, the vet calls her Elvira when we take her in.
Mistress of the Dark.
Mistress of the Dark.
Different. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So you were telling me a little while ago that Elvie gets involved in your fitness routine at home?
She does, yes. We've had sort of a pandemic yoga class Zoom that we do every Sunday afternoons, which has been a great habit actually to get into, and we've really loved that addition. You actually suggested yoga to us that it would help my running when I was talking to you about this on Twitter. Do you remember?
I mean, it sounds like something I would say. I don't. That's awesome though, because I have not done any like actual online yoga from do you use like a live instructor that teaches? That's cool.
He's a friend of ours who's actually a singer. He lives in New York City, and he's a singer. He mostly does musical theater, but he got into gyrotonics and teaching yoga. That's Yoga Narada. And he's really an excellent instructor. So we Zoom in with him on Sunday afternoons, and Elvie likes to participate. She really thinks it's great when she sees both of us lying on our yoga mats, and she thinks that's great fun to come in and mess with both of us, which cracks him up. And luckily some of the other people on the class have pets that mess with them as well, so we're not the only ones. But
that is,
his name's Jim Phillips, by the way. Just give him a shout out.
oh, Jim Phillips,
yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a good shout out. I feel like, I've done pre-recorded videos that have been online for years that are my kind of go-tos, but I think it is awesome to keep supporting, kind of like we want to put our things online, and people, support the arts. All these yoga instructors, fitness teachers are doing the same thing, and it's something we can do to keep them going.
Yes.
Too. So
true.
Do you guys have any holiday traditions or any holiday memories that, like, when you think of Christmas, maybe a favorite present you got as a kid, or?
Oh, I've got one. When we were first dating, we traveled to Italy to sing an Traviata together through University of North Texas. And we extended our trip. It was in December. We extended our trip to just do a little bit more of Europe touring. We went early and did some stuff, and we stayed a little later. And we ended up in Zurich for Christmas Eve. And we went to a beautiful church service, and it was like magic. It was already pretty great, but then like coming out of the church, it had just started to snow on Christmas Eve. It was like a movie.
It was magical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty special memory.
That is beautiful. Oh. So are you just kind of staying in St. Louis this year, or?
Yeah, we're just gonna make it special for us, and we're trying to just have some fun already. That's sort of holiday fun. Like, we've already watched Love Actually for the first time this season. So we'll be doing more of that cheesy holiday movies. Our big thing, we don't normally get big gifts for each other, but we always do stockings. And fill them up with lots of little things and fun things for each other. And we always, people are gonna think we're really nuts, but we always get a stocking for our cat, full of cat toys, and we dump that out on the floor Christmas morning and let her roll around with all the toys.
Oh, that is adorable. Does she have a favorite kind of toy? Like, does she like the ones on the stick, or the?
She does like those, but normally she likes they're like sparkly little balls that she can knock around the house and go nuts with, and she likes to leave them in his shoes when he's out of the house. So when he comes home, there'll be one that she's licked, so it's gross, in his shoe waiting for him when he gets home. But yeah, that's what she goes for. And she also likes the clay mice, the little tiny ones, and she's quite brutal with those. Like, we'll find them decapitated around the house or with the tail ripped off or something. So it's a little disturbing.
And she sometimes has in this she makes a lot of sense to be our cat, because we'll be in another room or upstairs, and you'll hear her lecturing, we call it. She's making really loud noises at one of these toys. And it's hilarious, and it's disturbingly loud, actually. But I mean, that's singer cat.
Yeah, she can make some sound.
Speaking of noisy pets, does that ever happen when you're like on a Zoom call with students? Does she ever make noise? Can you hear?
It hasn't yet, thank goodness. But it's happened to you.
This was just delivered to me. Yeah. Jacob, are you teaching remotely for Webster right now?
Yes, I do all of my voice lessons remotely, but I actually have been going to do them from my office, which has been really smart, because we weren't allowed to do that in the spring. But having the routine of going to my office and having separate work and home lives has been really great. I mean, there's been a very rare occasion where I've just decided to stay home, but it's been really nice to still have that kind of routine. And then the harder thing is rehearsing our opera scenes remotely, which has been kind of interesting. I've just started meeting them one-on-one. In person, but like distance and with masks. That's in preparation for our final product. Will still be like one of these virtual choir type things, but with scenes. So they've got to record to. It's all new stuff. But we're just trying to continue to give them the experience that they need. It's really. We're all just figuring it out as we go.
100%. Karen, are you teaching a little bit remotely too?
Yeah, I have my private students, which I mostly do through Skype or Zoom.
Yeah.
And then I'm coaching some of the Opera Studio students to help their preparation at Webster. So that's fun. So yeah.
And I know obviously for all of us, you've had some things canceled and juggled around, and that's just hard. I mean, have you, I don't know, like, how are you feeling these days? Like, are you feeling kind of like energized or I don't know. It's a roller coaster, right?
It is. Yeah. And I think, I don't know if you felt this, but it's kind of been in waves for us. So, initially it was like, everybody stay home for 2 weeks and flatten the curve. And so of course we can do anything for 2 weeks. Right. And then it looks like more like a month. And so it's like when you say, oh, it's only going to be this long and then things will get better, then you start to have hope. And then when you realize it's going to be another couple months and more things get canceled, and all of that seems to go in waves, right? Then you have sort of those down times when you're bummed that this is going on and we're going to be unemployed for even longer and more people are getting sick and dying. And so it's, I think we're grateful that we've managed to sort of dig ourselves out of the hole every time and get some hope going again.
Holidays are coming up. Do you have any dishes you're looking forward to making for the first time, or anything you're going to, resurrect from the past, or maybe put a new spin on?
We always make spanakopita, which is just like a nod to my Greek heritage. And we've learned how to kind of adjust it over the years and tweak the recipe. But that one comes out, that's like Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter. That one always is the same. And then pumpkin something, like pumpkin cheesecake, pumpkin pie, pumpkin something. And then everything else seems to rotate, like whether it's going to be turkey or lamb or something else special. But I feel like the spanakopita is probably our biggest food tradition that we do.
We were luckily kind of, just food in general. We were always, I'd say, cooking 99% of our food at home anyway, just for like health and budget reasons. So like that adjustment was kind of easy for us. But there is that certain amount of like, oh, we always could have done something before if we wanted to. And so now it's like, so when it became just takeout or whatever, that's kind of gone in ways and stuff. So that's been interesting. I really feel for people though that, that don't cook or, because I just don't know what that must be like. Yeah. Because for us it was like, oh, we're gonna eat at home. Isn't that what we already do?
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's probably a rude awakening for a lot of people to have to eat their own cooking for long stretches of time.
What's the necessity is the mother of invention, or maybe it's kind of that same thing where it's like, now's the time to learn. Yeah. So what's your secret for your spanakopita? Do you put any nutmeg in it or spices, or is it?
Yeah, a little bit of nutmeg and a little bit of lemon zest really kicks it up a notch, I think. And I used to do the whole thing with phyllo and individual layers of phyllo and brushing each one with butter. And now, since we've kind of gone the low carb route, we have resorted to just leaving the phyllo out and baking all of the filling. So now it's basically sort of like baked creamed Greek spinach, I guess you can call it. But that's super delicious. We love that a lot. So, and we'll probably do, I think, since Thanksgiving is coming up here, we're going to be doing a pumpkin cheesecake. That will be really good fun, I think. So,
and we're actually, for people who cook a lot, we are actually calling in help on the turkey this year. We are supporting a local barbecue place and we bought a whole turkey from them, which will be really, because they have the smokers and stuff. And so we're going to go pick that up on. We actually have a race. We're doing a 10K on Thanksgiving morning virtually. And then we've got an appointment to pick that turkey up. So that's one less thing to worry about. We just have to worry about side dishes and dessert and such.
So do you guys have anything you want to show and tell for some holiday spirit today?
We do. We have these super dorky hats.
They coordinate too.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
We actually have them on backwards because they're from a beer tasting and they have a beer logo on the other side. But we wouldn't give them any free advertising. Although we are both in beer cities,
We are.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's hilarious. When did you get those?
Last year sometime, right?
Yeah, I think it was last year.
Like maybe a summer ago. Yeah, it was they were free swag at a beer tasting event. So, but we thought they're Christmas colored. Why not?
And they're sufficiently dorky, I think, to work for the holidays. Yes, and the bell really makes all the difference.
Yeah.
So
Before we go, obviously this whole Fonsy After 5 thing is kind of my ode to Delilah After Dark. I don't know if you ever listened to Delilah.
Do you have a theme song?
Delilah.
Yeah, is there like a Fonzie?
Oh, just wait, you haven't seen it yet. I made myself a jingle.
yay!
I felt like I had to have a jingle, right? Because that's when I think of Delilah, it's like that's what you hear, right?
Yeah.
So before we go, I just wanted to ask you, who would you like to dedicate a song to, and what would you like to request tonight?
Well, I would like to dedicate a song to my grandmother, Auleen. She was a Spitfire, hell of a woman. She just passed last year. And she, for the longest time, was the only person really in my family who supported a career in music. And the funniest story I have is really her. She had a recording of mine that she loved, and she was big in her Baptist church, and so she insisted that they play that recording before services started. And I was a little bit horrified when I found out that it was Cado Nome. Really not appropriate for church. But she didn't know that, and probably nobody else did either. But she was very insistent, and so they obliged her for several weeks. I think that recording was playing. So I always love that story. And so I would like to request my favorite Christmas Advent song, which is "Lo, How a Rose Ere Blooming."
Great. Well, you are going to hear it. So here we go. Here is Lo, How a Rose Are Blooming for Auleen.
Hi there, Jamie Barton coming at you from Atlanta, Georgia. I am singing Lo, How a Rose Ere Blooming for Karen Kanakis and Jacob Lassetter. And this is in honor of Karen's grandmother, Auleen. Have a lovely and wonderful holiday season. Much love to all of you.
I mean, you couldn't have gotten somebody better, huh? That's amazing. And it looks like she did it on acapella.
Are
That's
you
awesome.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm playing this now. Unbelievable.
From tender stem hath sprung, of Jesse's lineage coming, as men of old have sung. It came a flower bright amid the cold of winter, when half gone was the night. Isaiah once foretold it, the rose I have in mind. With Mary we behold it, the Virgin Mother kind. To show God's love aright, she bore to man a Savior, when half gone was the night. This flower whose fragrance tender with sweetness fills the air, dispels with glorious splendor
She did all her own harmony. I mean, that's.
What's really funny is I was actually saying, when you're making the request, I was like, I almost want to request that somebody do it like an acapella and do like all their own harmonies. And then like, it's like she read our minds.
That's
awesome.
amazing. It sounds so good. Wow, that is really special.
Well, and I know
That's
that
really special.
I know that Jamie, like when, you know, I shared what you said about Olene, and, you know, I know that that really touched Jamie, and it really touched me. And I think, you know, there are these people in our life that we wish could always be with us at the holidays, and it's inevitable that they can't, but they were, you know, just such important parts of our journeys and who we are. And I just, you know, I'm thrilled that we could honor Olene, and, you know, yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna cry. But that is amazing. Yeah. Thank you. That is so amazing. Yeah, just so beautiful.
Well,
Awesome.
and that last line, I was like, I hadn't really thought about it, but we all need our load lightened, right? And that's what
Yes.
this is about right now, is a little light. So
Let's hope this night is half gone.
Yeah.
Night we're living through right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing.
Well, it was so wonderful to see both of your faces and to hear your voices and to just connect in this way. And I hope that your spanakopita for every holiday is gobbled up, you know, and delicious. So
eat your spinach, kids.
Eat your spinach. And I hope that your pantsless Christmas tree, you know, brings you much joy.
We'll send you a photo when we get it up. It's so weird.
Please do. Well, on that note, good night. And thank you again. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
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 Thanks for tuning in to my first episode, and a special thanks to Karen Kanakis, Jacob Lassetter, and Jamie Barton. I hope you'll tune in next time. I'll be joined by soprano Susanna Phillips. Happy holidays, and remember, it's after 5 somewhere. Fonsy